How do you do your marketing? Like, how does that work? How
My
do,
marketing?
yeah. How does your paintings get
That's a
sold?
very big problem for me. I just am not terribly good at it. I have certain clients that come back to me every so often and buy
Mm-hmm.
something from a new series. I have worked with dealers over the years, um, but not any that have no relationship that's lasted very long, partly because figurative work over the years has never been foremost in the art market. So the galleries tend to be smaller and less competitive and seem to go out of business.
Oh dear, that's too bad. Oh, it's really sad.
So right now I'm in the process of, well, I show in alternate spaces and places like that, but right now I need to find a more substantial gallery again.
Sure. I wonder. I hope you would get some big commissions like the one you just got. That would be
Well,
nice.
that would be nice, yeah.
That's
Those don't come along very often.
no, I guess not. Although, they should come along more often. To me, your work is like a historian.
Mhm.
You know, there's a way of talking about how we live today, or what our spaces are like, and how we are in individually and in groups.
Mhm.
How the world around us is. That it's important to have it reflected in art and not just in, the kind of dry language of historical writing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, I don't know. I would hope you get lots of commissions to do some of these buildings before they tear them all down.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they're not going to tear Grand Central down.
No, I guess not. And so,
And I think that there would be other places that might enjoy a painting of Grand Central because it's just gorgeous now. It's just been totally renovated,
oh, isn't that wonderful?
and it's very beautiful.
Yeah, that's just, well, great. So glad they're doing that. Isn't that a great thing?
Yeah, yeah. But in terms of just getting the work into the public view, I mean, hardly anybody knows I exist. It's very hard
Yeah.
um, to get the
Yes.
work out there today, even though there's the
Yes.
internet and there's all these things. People, galleries, etc., are so bombarded
Yes.
with with stuff, with mail, that they don't look.
No.
They're not interested in looking very far. So
Yeah, it's a
anyway,
problem. It is a problem of our time. All of us are overloaded with appeals to look at me, look at me, and from advertising to everything. So it's really difficult.
yeah, and visual
Vision.
stuff.
Tons of visual stuff. Most of it not worth looking at more than fleetingly.
And there's wonderful stuff out there.
There's so much.
I see it all the time.
Yes.
But
Yeah, we got to learn to. I guess we have to somehow teach people to want to stand and look for a long time at something and explore it.
yeah, somebody recently gave a lecture on what she called slow art. Like there's this thing called slow food where
Yes.
take your time over a meal.
Yes.
Well, as opposed to fast food, well, she was talking about slow art, which was sort of, going back to just contemplation, looking at work and living
Yes.
with it.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like to do that. I like to spend a lot of time in front of a painting or a photograph. I
Do
have.
you?
Oh yeah. I do a lot of photography myself. And,
Oh, you do? Yeah.
and if I may say so, I got quite good at it. I can catch pictures that I really like to look at. Anyway.
Oh, that's great.
And
Yeah.
so I put them on my walls and I look
Mhm.
at them. I live with them, and I just really like that. I'd like to do that with paintings too. If I had a lot of money, I'd be buying a lot of paintings. Believe me.
Uh,
I certainly would buy some of yours, or at least one for sure.
well, mine are not very expensive.
Well, we'll see. maybe that, yeah, that would be delightful, actually. Um, so, well, is there anything that I have missed that you wish I'd asked you about at this point? Like, that's something that that
Not
you would
really.
want to say that.
You've been quite open and thorough about your questions, which I think I responded to.
Really, it's been really great. I've really enjoyed
talking about the different, the different phases, so-called phases of my work, which I think is important because I started as a painter, being totally isolated, walking around the city, just looking at stuff, and having been influenced. I spent 6 months walking around Europe looking at all the great stuff, and then came back and just started looking around at what my world looked like, which was figurative, just like all the great figurative painters of Europe. And then tried to and then just began to develop my own way of looking, feeling, seeing, and so forth. And one thing seems to come out of the next. So I think in that regard, I have something important to offer people to say.
Absolutely, you certainly do. And it's interesting to me to notice that I like the way you've documented what we've talked about here. It's quite thoroughly documented on your website by yourself. Your own writing about yourself, and it's really worth reading. I'm going to
my autobiography.
Yeah, I'm going to encourage people to go to the website and read that, because I think it's really worth. It's worth a lot to go with the paintings, to have to have your own words about it.
Is it? You found that to be interesting?
Really interesting, for sure. I would, yeah, absolutely. I think I think a lot of the time it's really helpful for artists. I don't think many of them do it, to have something about their work written, as well as the painting there on the wall. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, well, I felt that in my own work that I did have this cohesiveness and train of thought running through it.
Yeah. It's really
and
good.
then I had the pictures to, the portfolios relate to the writing.
Yeah, it's great. The other thing that I noticed, you mentioned that you like to take your sketch pad and so on right into the coffee shop or wherever.
Oh, my pochade box.
And sit there working.
I love doing that. I used to have a friend that liked to do it with me, but she went off to do something else. But I'm about to go back and do it again for a while, because I just think that immediacy of creating a stage and then putting the people in as they come and go.
Yes.
And it gives such an immediacy to the color and to the atmosphere of a place. And then I back it up sometimes with photographs and stuff, so I get more.
Sure.
And make bigger things.
Well, the Valerie Larco, her work that you mentioned earlier, that's what struck me about her. She loves to go right out. She puts up her easel and puts her big canvases right out on the street and paints for 3 months right out on the street, right?
Yeah, that's
Finishes
great.
the
It's
thing
hard
right
to...
there, with all the people walking around and commenting and talking to her about what she's doing.
It's wonderful, yeah. I've done some things, they're not on my website because they're not really basically figurative, but I've done some painting in the middle of Times Square like that, taken my easel at Times Square and painted there, and it's quite amazing.
Yes.
And people stop and they think I'm put there by the Chamber of Commerce or something, because they'll always ask questions. How much do you sell your paintings? How much do you sell your paintings for? And then if I'm painting with a friend, they'll stand back of us and they'll say, I think his painting's better than her painting.
Oh, dear.
And then one day I was painting there, painting the ticket booth from across the street, and suddenly this wild kind of band started playing music gathered right in front of me. And it really influences what you do. You
For
feel
sure.
different. Yeah.
For sure it would.
Yeah, I do paint a lot outdoors in the country in the summertime.
Yeah.
But that isn't part of my main theme either.
No,
So,
it's people.
and I do portraits, and that's not my main theme.
No, like
So it's just that
you have an interest in people in
I
collections.
have an interest in these things.
Yeah, and people in collections of people interacting with each other. It seems.
Yeah, that's the thing that interests me most.
Well,